I've had it. I'm done. I'm frustrated. I'm getting rid of this thing. So, that's right. I'm getting rid of this thing. This stupid bumper. I'm tired of tripping over it, leaning over it, crawling through it. I'm just going to cut it off. What? Do you think I meant something else? It is out of my way. Not necessarily a bad bumper per se, but just not what I want on this right now. And look at all the room I've got now. I can actually walk up on it and not get, tangled up in this mess. So, I know I insinuated that the next video would be installing the transmission. Well, I did some test fitting of some parts beforehand just because that's the way things have been lately. And somewhere along the way, either I forgot to mention it or they didn't take into account, there's two different bolt patterns on a GM Turbo 400. There's the large pattern, 11 and a half, and the small pattern, 10 and 3/4. Flex plates drilled for 11 and a half. This is 10 and 3/4. So, got a couple options here. Could have got a hold of them, said, hey, send me one in 11 and a half. Then I'd have to ship this back, and then they'd have to ship another one. Then there'd be the cost difference. And then they'd have to build it, and then there's a holiday, and then it's like 4 to 6 weeks before I'd get one. Or we could do it the hot rodder way and modify the flex plate. Don't recommend it. May not be the right way, but I mean, hot rodder's been doing it forever. you can buy dual bolt pattern flex plates right off the, performance websites. So why not? I'm gonna get this set up in, and then Hillary will send you guys down in to take a look. So come on down. We're gonna show you a couple things. I'll probably have to set you down a couple times. Sorry about that. So our pilot on the torque converter and our hole in the back on the adapter, because this has an adapter, remember. It is correct. If you look, I've already prepped our pads that the torque converter goes on. I'll set you up in here. Balance that. And try not to drop that on you guys. Alright. So as you can see, is no bueno. That bolt hole does not line up. However, we do have enough pad that if I twist her just a little bit, I think we can get away with that. So my next step, turn around and look at you guys before I drop this. My next step's going to be, of course, take this down because my arm's getting tired. But then I'm going to put a little paint on that flex plate, and then I'll figure out a way to strap this torque converter to the flex plate, and then I can mark accurate holes, and we'll have us a dual pattern flex plate. I'm going to hand you off because that's getting heavy. Alright. May end up cleaning the back of that off too. It's got some, I think it's just from the cardboard. Anyway, next part's boring. It's watching paint dry. We'll get a rattle can of some white primer, something that'll show up well when I scribe it. So I'll get that set up into place, make sure it's flush up against the flex plate, the pilot's all seated properly. Then I'll get in there with a little scribe and just put that little mark where the tab from the torque converter is, and then we'll take a look. If it looks good, we'll drop the flex plate off, take it in the shop, poke 3 new holes, and we'll be good to go. Head down there. Hillary doesn't want to come down there, so she'll hand you off to me, something like that. All right. I'm going to show what's going on real quick. So, got our pads marked with some paint, so that when I set that up in there, I can scribe into that paint. I have this little keeper strap wrapped around the flex plate. Once I get the torque converter in place, I can hold that up. I'm going to hand you back off and do that. Alright. Here, hand the camera down and I can show what's going on. So we got the strap holding that up in there, and now that nice bright white, you can really see where I need to mark. I'll come in with this little pick tool. Hopefully I can get that in there straight enough to scribe. I may have to get one with a different angle. I'll get in there and scribe the hole, bring that out, center it, and drill new holes. As far as I can tell, it worked. So, it's upside down. Moment of truth. Loosen up the strap, set that down. Alright. So, I've got 3 scribe marks. Focus. Come on, focus. Camera won't focus. Alright, 3 scribe marks. So, how does that come out? I'll just guess how if I'm looking at you guys. Alright, so that's done. Ooh, there's an echo in here. I'm going to pop this flex plate off, bring it in the shop. We'll see if we can center up the holes, get those drilled, see if we can verify on the bench that we got her pretty close, and then after that we should be able to put it back together, and then we'll just kind of look and talk about what we're doing next. 1 flex plate removed. So I was talking about in this raised pad, this is a factory style flex plate. You can see this raised pad, and there's the factory hole, so there's not a whole lot of meat that it's sitting on anyway as far as on this side, so we're going to have plenty of meat drilling new holes. Yeah, don't look at that one. That one's messy. That one's not the greatest either. So just look at this one, and while it's out, give it a look, make sure everything looks okay. Don't see any cracks. If it was cracked or anything, we'd just replace it. So no cracks. And we'll take this inside, take the torque converter inside, and the reason we did the torque converter with it up on the engine, you see this hole is much larger than the pilot for the back of the crankshaft. Now I could have probably popped the adapter off the back of the crankshaft and bolted it to this and got it, you know, close to, but this way it's mounted to the crank. We know it's centered up that way, and just hopefully we can get our holes pretty dead on. You know, you still got to put a bolt through it, so it's not like it's a press fit hole. So it can be off by a 64th or 32nd of an inch, and I think we'll be all right. These AMC engines are externally balanced. As you can see, this one's got a big wing here, no wings here. Before I was so rudely interrupted by a battery dying. These AMC engines, they are, it's called an externally balanced engine, which is why on this flex plate, see you've got extra weight in that window. Your harmonic balancer is also balanced to the engine. So your 304 is a different balance than your 360, which is what this is, and your 401 is a different balance. So if you ever go swapping motors, you know, keeping it in the AMC V8 family, you gotta use the properly balanced flex plate or flywheel if you're running a manual, and harmonic balancer to the proper engine. Otherwise you're gonna wipe out your bearings on your crank and be very sad. It would be very, very sad. So just a little point of information. Anyway, I'm going to see about lining up holes and drilling some new ones, and we'll go from there. Okay, we got some transfer punches that may or may not help. Otherwise, just a spring-loaded center punch, step bits, regular cobalt bits, deburring tool, and I'll see if I can eyeball lining this up with the center, and just kind of look down. Looks pretty centered. So, like I said, I got transfer punch. It seemed to work good. This little piece, it's just got holes in different inch sizes. It's made more for taps. If you're tapping threads, hold it against the surface, and then your tap will be straight, and that way you don't tap a crooked angle into something. Ask me, I know. And all right, one down, two to go. So I don't smack super duper hard with these transfer punches. They're just made for making your initial dot. That way you can see where you need to really, hit it with a stronger center punch. I like these spring-loaded ones. They're pretty handy. Just push on it. And it's got a little spring and a plunger and works good. They also work good for emergency window breaker. If you want to keep one in your car. Alright, feel pretty good about those. So we'll try and clamp that. We'll clamp it on this side. And we'll do this in a few sizes, or we're not just going to jump in with a 3/8 bit right away. I'm going to see if I can get away with a 25/64 as my final hole size. That makes it 1/64 larger than the 3/8 of an inch. I'll drill those and kind of fiddle with it on the bench here and see if it's close enough. Won't know till I put it back up in there and then, of course, center off the hub and the adapter. So, all right, let's poke some holes. That there bit is dull, so we'll trade that out for a different one. Alright. We'll just go ahead and step up in size and move the clamp instead of drilling. I'll give these just a little spritz of lube. Of course, a drill press is the better way to go. But they're both buried right now. Alright. I like the way that one felt. Drill shavings everywhere. I want to get rid of I don't want to put it in there right now because they're warm. Push that aside for now. See if I want to deburr them or if I want to well, come on. This isn't my swivel deburr tool. I think I'm going to do it the other way. I'll deburr them with a step bit here in a little bit. I'll do them all at the same time though. Again, technically, not the right way to do it, technically. But it's going to work. Yeah. Oh, I walked. Oh, damn it. Bit walked. Now. This is how we break bits and stuff like that, but I think I may have got it back in the center. Hate it when that happens. Yep. On the next one. More. I'm sure there's a better technique for saving a hole with the bit walk, but if you got an idea, let me know. Alright, hopefully we don't have one oversized hole when this is all said and done. I can still see my scribe marks in the steel. We're still looking fairish. I think we're going to be alright. Okay. Step bit, Christmas tree bit, unibit, whatever you'd like to call it. I call it awesome. Right there, it just knocked the burr right off. Just removed it. I'll flip it over and do the other side of that same hole. I don't know if the camera picks up that little burr edge. Not really. Just a little smoothing. Got a countersink bit that I've abused over the years, doing the same thing. Looks really good at taking those edges off. Nice and smooth. Yeah, it'll work. Set that aside. See about cleaning up my mess. And then we'll see if the holes line up to the torque converter anyway. I guess I shouldn't put that away yet, just in case. And we'll set that aside. Still clean up my mess. We'll use these to do that. No fluid in this yet. I test fit this before I put fluid in it, and am super thankful I did. Alright, I need to clean this off first. I'm returned. I need a brand new package of ARP torque converter bolts. And we're something sharp to open that with. 3 bolts, nuts, washers. Won't need the nuts and washers just yet. We're just gonna see if our holes line up enough. First question is, will a 3/8 bolt go through there easily? Easily-ish. They're a little long, but I think it's what those washers are for. Put the washer on the bolt side. And it's just right. Boy, those don't leave any room for clearance. Clearance has left the building on these. So what'll happen is we'll fish these in when it's time to bolt it up. Get that nut in there. I'll get my fat fingers out of the way and show you what the finished product will look like. Look a little something like that. Just using the old ichrometer method. Looking down, that pilot looks awful centered. So, I think we're going to call this a win. Pretty happy about that. That lined up pretty good. Plus our heads are lower than our ring gear on our flex plate. I wonder if I should read these instructions in here. Yeah. We don't need no stinking instructions. So, those are on there so they won't get lost. I'll climb back under, put this on, show you the rest of the fuel system that we need to address, and I think we'll wrap it up for the day. Our fuel system. It comes out of the tank It goes in through that primary filter, out through this pump. That's not the pump I had on it when I sold it. And then out into that line there. So we've got some leaking going on back here. So to simplify things right now, I'm going to eliminate the primary fuel filter. I've got one under the hood, so it'll be fine for short term. Replace our leaking hoses. As you can see, they're wet. The hoses I put in were hydraulic lines, and they lasted for 20 years. Same with the brake lines. So you can see that one's seen better days, but it's still holding. It's not leaking. So I will get that stuff done. And there I am. Maybe. There we go. So I'll get that stuff done. I won't bore you with the details on that. And let's climb back up and wrap this day up. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for today. For now, I said I'm going to do some boring off-camera stuff. And then barring any unforeseen things that I've forgotten or anything else that comes up, next time see me, be sliding under it with the transmission and transfer case, and hopefully be driving it. So that's the goal. Thanks so much for watching. Really do appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. We'll flip that and